we're live. Let's see. We're live. Hi. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Kick Off the Morning, the unofficial, official morning show of Kick. How are we doing today? Well, doing good. I was having some fun on Twitter last night. Ended up having a thing go mini viral. So that was interesting. And yeah. I'm gonna save that for a little portion of content I'm gonna call In the Trenches for my Twitter little spats and all that. I think that's gonna be funny. Call it In the Trenches. Okay. Well, you know how we always start off the day. We're gonna start it off with some space weather from Ben. I hope you guys are giving this man a follow. Space Weather News. He lets you know what's up. You will know what's going to be happening in the world around you days in advance by watching him.
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. It is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, and today we're looking at space weather. Some weird stuff happening on Mars. I can't wait to get your thoughts on that. We have a new thing happening in space weather, too. It reinforces the concept that the declining phase of the sunspot cycle is critical, and we're starting here with our star. Last 24 hours on the sun, and we find minor pops, eruptive activity around the incoming limb and off the north at the end, but nothing fired our way yet. We do have that potential here with plasma filaments seemingly all over, and an increasingly interesting sunspot situation, big ones departing top right, but from the left. Incoming, we have a group north and south. The south has the biggest umbra, but it's alone.
I just want to bring that back so you can see sunspots over here, sunspots over here, so then when he brings it to this picture, now you can really see it. But I mean, yep. And once those let out all that energy, it just slams into us.
Nothing fired our way yet. We do have that potential here with plasma filaments seemingly all over, and an increasingly interesting sunspot situation, big ones departing top right, but from the left. Incoming, we have a group north and south. The south has the biggest umbra, but it's alone, and the same size it was last night when we looked in the live stream. Up north, though, we see growth and morphing. Eyes on them both today. Speaking of the live stream last night, number one question you had was when and where will we see the comet on Soho? The answer is about right here. It is going to come in from the upper right quarter and cut down and to the left across the screen. This will be just to the right of the sun where Earth is orbiting into the solar wind stream. Folks, I am veering towards the deep end on this one. NASA says the difference in this Viking image of Mars 50 years ago and the Mars Express image taken now of the exact same area is ash blowing around. The first thing that comes to mind is that it looks more like a scouring to reveal black underneath the red dust, not the other way around. Second, if that's 50 years and the volcanoes that made the ash erupted millions and millions and millions of years ago, why is there anything left to blow? Why didn't it already blow around the planet 50 times? Why is it as separated and unmixed as it was the day it was laid down? Shouldn't the only signs be a slight darkening discoloration at this point? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a special video on that here soon. But for now, we are coming to...
That is, just so you know, Ben is a straight up scientist. He goes and has debates with real scientists and he wins. The guy is just, he's just a blunt, very in your face person. It makes him kind of polarized. But I mean, the man knows what he's talking about. And when he starts asking questions like this, you pay attention. We're going to rewatch that because that is, once again, they are showing a 50-year difference between these pictures, and he's pointing out how that shouldn't really matter. If it's been like this, it's been like this for a long time. Come on. So, okay, why? Give us a good explanation. Let's watch that again.
Folks, I am veering towards the deep end on this one. NASA says the difference in this Viking image of Mars 50
Good morning, Winifred. Winifred, sorry. How are you doing? Thank you for enjoying a coffee with me. You are beautiful.
Years ago, and the Mars Express image taken now of the exact same area is ash blowing around. The first thing that comes to mind is that it looks more like a scouring to reveal black underneath the red dust, not the other way around. Second, if that's 50 years and the volcanoes that made the ash erupted millions and millions and millions of years ago, why is there anything left to blow? Why didn't it already blow
Millions and millions of years.
around the planet 50 times? Why is it as separated and unmixed as it was the day it was laid down? Shouldn't the only signs be a slight darkening discoloration at this point? Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a special video on that here soon. But for now, we are coming to a comparison of sunspot numbers and geomagnetic storm conditions. What you will notice is the red peaks, geomagnetism, trend towards following the gray peaks, not being perfectly aligned with them. That's the geomagnetic maximum lagging the sunspot number. It's due to residual sunspot activity and increasing coronal hole impacts during the declining phase, and so the solar storm maximum is a bit after the sunspot maximum, and not just overall, but for the biggest overall single storm events. Starting at the bottom, the great 2003 Halloween storm was actually 2 years after the sunspot maximum in the same last cycle, when the September 2017 uptick dwarfed everything else that happened in that cycle, which peaked in 2015. May 2024 was big stuff in terms of solar storms. Are we going to get something bigger in the next couple of years? I really hope not, but
I just started, so the December before that May is when I really started watching this guy, and then everything went kind of crazy, and that's what hooked me into him. Like, he was calling things before they were happening. Right now, it's very calm. It's not, there's not much going on, but when that sun starts to pop off, this is the guy. This is the guy you want to listen to. He's going to let you know what's up. And I just remember that, like, there was a month and a half where he was saying something, earthquake a couple days later, saying something, tsunami. I mean, like, it was incredible. I was telling people around me what was going to happen, and they thought I was like Nostradamus. And I just kept telling people, follow Ben, Space Weather News.
that's not why we're discussing this. We are discussing this because now we have confirmation that proton storm maximum trails sunspot maximum as well. It's not just the stormiest conditions doing so, but the most energetic protons. The weak ones do peak at sunspot maximum, but the medium energy protons peak in the descending phase a bit afterwards, and the same with the strongest proton events. They also peak in the descending or declining phase just after the maximum. The declining phase of this sunspot cycle just started, by the way. Folks, there are thousands of things to check off your survival checklist, tens of thousands of dollars to spend at least, thousands of hours of time, unless you do what I say. You can probably imagine that there are a million different supplies and skills and to-dos lists depending on where you are, who you are.
He does give a great breakdown. He has multiple videos, like showing how to prep and stuff like that. If you depending on how far you want to go down that rabbit hole, I personally have prepped a little bit food. I'm gonna start getting into my gold and silver soon. I'm just trying to prepare. If you don't know, silver actually has medical uses and things like that. I've learned a lot watching this man, so I hope you guys can give him a follow. All right, let's start off with the news. Yesterday was the Louisiana mass shooting where 8 children, 3 to 11, were killed. 7 of them were the gunman's children. That's Shamar Elkins, a convicted felon who also shot his wife and another woman. He went to multiple homes, and one child escaped by jumping from a roof. He died in a shootout with the police. People are asking how he even got a gun as a felon. We all know how he got a gun. I didn't even really look into it that much. You can keep that darkness to yourself. Sometimes you have to pick and choose what you allow into your life, and I don't see how knowing anything more about that story benefits me, so I just move on. U.S.-Iran ceasefire talks in doubt. The 2-week truce expires tomorrow with Trump calling an extension highly unlikely. Yeah, he's actually been tweeting a little bit, saying like they've been breaking the rules this entire time. We're gonna see how everything goes. I mean, it we're just got to keep waiting. We're squeezing. Honestly, I think that they might keep the blockade going till this China meeting between Trump and Z. In the end, remember, this is all about China. This is all about China. So, honestly, I think everything's kind of stalled out till this meeting that happens in May. I think everybody's kind of. You have little movements. You're going to see with the satellite dog fighting. Everything's not huge movements, big explosions. It's all subtle movements, battles that last days. We're gonna get there, but yeah, well, we're gonna see about that. Then we had the Labor Secretary Lori Chavez. She is resigning. She's leaving amid misconduct allegations, including abuses of power. The White House says she's taking a private sector job. That's what they do every time. They're obviously not going to try to blow up the story more. This marks the third Trump cabinet exit in recent weeks. An internal investigation is underway into her conduct and staff. She's denying everything. I love this because I think with Eric Swalwell, everybody's now locking down the ships. And awesome. Get the bad actors out. If you are breaking the law, I don't care your political affiliation. Get the hell out of my government. Honestly, if you're a dual citizen, you shouldn't even be in my government. America. That is it. Loyalty number 1, America. Loyalty number 2, America. Loyalty number 3, family. That's it. Hey, Jesse. Good to see you. Good morning. You are beautiful. So that's why I'm really liking this. I don't care the party. Get your corrupt, your bad actors, get them out. We are going for efficiency now in every aspect of life. Trade, war, everything. I'm at 19 followers? Oh, Jesse, you're breaking my mind right now. Oh, no, I'm still at 18. Girl. Getting me all excited. So yeah, I'm telling you, get all the bad actors out and we can really start striving. We are letting too many things drag us down, whether it's corruption, fraud, straight up demoralizing ourselves. We were talking about this yesterday. There is a straight up wave from our adversaries to hold us down. They do not want us advancing. We're advancing too fast compared to the rest of the world. That's why the trans thing is only in America. There is a straight up push to just break us down, to keep us distracted. And I'm glad everyone is waking up. You're going to see that with an Israel thing later. Israel's more unpopular than ever. And honestly, I don't fall for the whole Israel thing. But yes, in the end, they have way too much influence in our politics. Why does AIPAC pay everybody? Get your foreign money out of here. I don't care what country you are. If you are putting money into our politics to affect it, bad actor in my opinion. Get out. Get the hell out. Remember, you, the American citizen, is the most important thing in the world. I'm doing bird hands. You are the most important thing in the world. The adversaries of America are fighting for your attention and for you to join their cause, because you actually can affect change in this world. Your vote is the most important thing in this world to the outside, because you truly will change the world's direction. That's why we got to make voting harder. We need a test. Tim Cook stepping down as Apple CEO. I want to pull this up real quick. Trump sent out something yesterday or just this morning that was he talked about Tim Cook. This is what he's tweeting out right now, 17 minutes ago. Iran has violated the ceasefire numerous times. They're going to hold this blockade till the Z meeting, or right before, as like a good gesture before the meeting. Okay. Tim Cook. This is Donald Trump. I've always been a big fan of Tim Cook, and likewise Steve Jobs. But if Steve was not taken from the planet Earth so young and ran the company instead of Tim, the company would have done well, but nowhere near as well as under Tim. For me, it began with a phone call from Tim at the beginning of my first term. He had a fairly large problem that only I, as president, could fix. Most people would have paid millions of dollars to a consultant who probably would have not known how to fix it. The fees will be paid, but the job will not have gotten done. When I got the call, I said, wow, it's Tim Cook, calling. How big is that? I was very impressed with myself to have the head of Apple calling to kiss my ass. Oh my God, you are your own worst enemy, Trump. Damn it, Donald. Anyway, he explained his problem, a tough one it was. I felt he was right and got it taken care of quickly and effectively. That was the beginning of a long and very nice relationship. During my 5 years as president, Tim would call me, but never too much, and I would help him where I could. Years later, after 3 or 4 big helps, I started to say to people, anyone who would listen, that this guy is an amazing manager and leader. He makes these calls to me, I help him out, but not always, because he will, on occasion, be too aggressive in his ask, and he gets the job done quickly without a dime given to these expensive consultants. Man, he hates consultants, as do the rest of us. Around town who sometimes get it done and sometimes don't. Anyway, Tim Cook had an amazing career, almost incomparable, and will go on and continue to do great work for Apple and whatever else he chooses to work on. Quite simply, Tim Cook is an incredible guy. What the hell did Tim Cook do that Donald Trump is typing all that? I don't know. But if I had some extra money, I'd probably invest in Apple. Okay. So Tim Cook is out. This is now the next story. Kevin Warsh, Fed chair, has a confirmation hearing. We're going to see how that goes. You know, you have the blockade going. There's so much going on that we're going to see. You have to play this one. You're playing minute by minute. Because in the end, all this is about the petrodollar, which is huge. You know, everything's connected. We're gonna have to see. No, hopefully I'll have more on that tomorrow after the hearings. The Virginia redistricting referendum. They're trying to gerrymander the houses in Virginia because of Texas. In the end, both parties are wrong. They're both trying to screw over the other one. That's the game. It's the game that we're playing, trying to dominate the other side. I hope my side wins, which is America. I hope America wins. The Onion is taking over InfoWars. I think this is so great. I mean, like, honestly, Alex has been ahead of the curve in a lot of things, but he's also been wrong in a lot of things. He drums up Alex is a comedian. He started as a comedian. He's a performer. Anybody else who's saying anything else forgets. He's a performer. This is what he does. Tucker Carlson, performer. Like, people think that these are like prophets or something, or somebody with integrity. They're performers. They're just putting on a show. Stop putting all your self into these people. It makes no sense. Anyway, The Onion is taking over, and The Onion is a satirical site. So now, basically, InfoWars mixed with more comedy and more outlandishness. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. aims to flip the conspiracy hub into humorous fake news. Deal highlights shifting media landscape post Jones. Could mark the end of InfoWars as a serious outlet. I mean, Sandy Hook, really, we all respect Alex because he does take big swings. He is a performer, but he does put his name on things, so I will always respect him for that. But yeah, Sandy Hook really screwed up everything. You don't screw with kids. Are we starting to see that? It happened with the trans movement. It happens with Alex Jones. You don't go near kids. Leave them alone. I was like the coldest person that didn't really care until I had kids. Now I cry, it seems like, at least once a week because my kids make me emotional. You have no idea what fire you're playing with by targeting kids in any way. Stay away from them, or else you are going to piss off every parent in America. Teen shooting in North Carolina. A planned fight near a school turned deadly. 2 teens were killed and 5 wounded. Gunfire broke out during the gathering. They're investigating it. It's just sad. Chelsea Clinton finishes a Boston Marathon. She ran 3 hours and 40 minutes. I just want to highlight that she's having a really good time with her life as what is being rumored is her and her family took millions upon millions of dollars from me and you. So, she's off having a great time running a marathon, and she stole from you. Are you going to let that happen? Just want to remind people, they're doing this to you. They are disrespecting you. Are you going to allow that? I don't want to allow that. National Guard remains deployed in D.C. Troops are still in the Capitol with no announcement date of it ending. Deployment tied to ongoing security concerns. It's sparking a debate over cost and necessity, considering how it went from third world country to now people can walk around without fear of being stabbed. Yeah, I'm thinking that it did a good job. Thinking that it did what it wanted. So these are the top 10 stories of the past 24 hours. And then we have the Iran stuff that's still going on. Not much has changed. Just a slow grind till this China meeting. I wanted to take a look at the cryptocurrencies. Everything's kind of building back up. I wanted to bring this up because the other day I said, you got to be careful with crypto, with the AI. And I pissed off a few people. As if I was saying, don't invest in crypto. I am not saying that. I am saying, read up, be careful, and never put all your eggs in one basket. If you are doing that, it better be a sure gamble, and even then, you're 5% stupid. Because if it goes tits up, you're done. So Bitcoin has been climbing back. It dropped down to 68. It's now back to 76. Here's the past week. And then you go to the month. So, it's been climbing. We're going to see. We will see. Because I won't lie. That Mythos news, it has me nervous. But you do have to think there's no way that the world governments are going to allow all this money from all these old families and institutions to just go dry. So I think it's safe. At the same time, I'm super nervous about it. So invest wisely is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not trying to piss off people. I'm just trying to point things out. Okay, now I want to have some fun and talk about military tech. We've gone over about Venezuela led to Iran, which is leading to China. It's all one big domino effect. But I also get Travis, you're for the Don Road doctrine. You're an expansionist. You want all this. What? You want to fight a million wars? What's wrong with you? You want to be the world police? What's wrong with you? That is not how shit works. If you, the whole walk into the prison and beat the shit out of the biggest man you can, when we're in reality, it is fight till you can't fight anymore to show everyone around you will never surrender. There is a good 85% chance you're going to lose the fight to the biggest dude in the yard. The whole point is to show everyone, I will go toe to toe to the last breath with this one. So don't you even try me, because I will go against you with the same ferocity, and you are not the same as that big dude. The whole point is to show, do not screw with us. Punch the bully in the face. It works. And we did that with Maduro. Nobody wants our smoke right now because we kidnapped a world leader. They'll say we arrested. I like kidnapped. Good. I hope you're scared. Don't screw with us. Anyway, here's Asman with the Maduro. I love this video.
There's a laser? Wait, what? Take a look at this. So, one of the security guards that was loyal to Nicolas Maduro has come forward, and they have told their story of what it was like when America attacked. The security guard. On the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything coming. We were on guard, but suddenly, all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones. A lot of drones flying over our positions. We didn't know how to react. Interviewer, so what happened next? After the drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but there were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men, but those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything that we had fought before. And then the battle began. Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds a minute. We couldn't do anything. Oh my god. Is this Warhammer lore? Yeah, exactly. And then your own weapons, didn't they help? No, they did not help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. And your comrades, did they manage to resist? No. Not at all. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear I've never seen anything like it. We couldn't even stand up after the sonic weapons or whatever it was. Oh my god. You know what they should do? They should play this interview as a recruitment ad for the United States military. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons.
Just so you know, recruitment for the Army is higher than it's been in years. If you are looking for military service young men, this is what you want. This is what you want. And honestly, it's inspiring and it's awesome. Good for the young men of America. Good for you. And have some pride in yourselves. Have some honor. Good for you. Because we're going to see how everything goes. I mean, hopefully there's no more soldiers on the battlefield within 5 to 10 years. That would be amazing. Everything is now, we can send out the robots and we can keep our people safe.
I'd never seen anything like.
But you never stop training. You never stop training. You stay prepared. If we don't have any soldiers out, then we are home training. Because God forbid those robots, something goes wrong, then we are ready. Always be prepared. Never start the fight, but sometimes you gotta. But always be the one that finishes it.
Like it. We couldn't even stand up after the sonic weapon or whatever it was. So do you think the rest of the region should think twice before confronting the Americans? Without a doubt. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. And now that Trump has said Mexico is on the list, do you think the situation will change in Latin America? Definitely. Everyone is already talking about this. No one wants to go through what what we went through. Now everyone thinks twice. What happened here is going to change a lot of things, not just in Venezuela, but throughout the region. There's a laser? Wait, what? Oh my god! A 60 kilowatt class directed laser energy developed by Lockheed Martin.
Holy
Oh my god.
crap.
And this is what they felt comfortable even showing. They literally spin in the Space Marines and the Psychers to fucking mind control and blow up the brains of these other people. Like, this actually was a Warhammer 40k operation.
I mean, it really was. If you know Star Wars or Warhammer 40k, that's this right here. I mean, it really was. It's crazy. We really are already an advanced civilization compared to the rest of the world. And the reason why you're seeing this in South America is because we can do stuff and not have it be filmed and watched by our adversaries. I mean, that's why Iran, you're not seeing the discombobulator, you're not seeing too much tech. There's too many eyes. Too many eyes. Maduro, remember, happened overnight, nobody knew it was happening, and boom. We got to play with a lot of our toys. We got to battle test, it was probably the best time that the Pentagon has had in a very long time. So, now let's actually see the operation.
I wanted to see this because I don't know how the fuck they ended up doing this, but apparently the United States military, whenever they were capturing Maduro, literally started using, like, psychic weapons.
Did the U.S. military deploy a secret sonic weapon during the raid in Venezuela? According to witnesses on the ground, the operation began with an unexplained radar blackout.
Imagine that, bro. Like, the entire fucking power for the country just goes out.
Yeah.
A massive drone swarm and the sounds of helicopters.
Oh my god.
Despite being outnumbered 5-1, the small U.S. Special Forces team faced less resistance. Why?
He's puking over there. Yeah, I mean, dude, could you imagine the mass panic as somebody to your, like, 20 feet to your left starts puking and bleeding and nothing really is affecting you, and then suddenly, boom, it hits you too? The panic. And then you can't even balance, you fall to the ground. You don't know what's going on. Talk about, like, sticks and stones versus AK-47s.
Reports indicate soldiers suffered from vertigo, vomiting.
So they went in there 5-to-1 odds, and they didn't even lose a single guy?
Nope.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
And internal bleeding.
Oh my god.
Military analysts believe this was a soft kill operation, likely utilizing a high-power microwave device. More detail all in the video ahead.
What the fuck?
Based on witness testimony, here's how the event likely occurred. Venezuelan soldiers were on standard guard duty when their radar systems suddenly shut down without warning.
Everything just shut down.
Immediately after the blackout, a massive drone swarm appeared over the facility, followed by 8 helicopters equipped with unidentified technology.
They don't even know what it is.
A 20-man team of Delta and Special Forces operatives deployed from the helicopters.
20 guys.
The encounter took a mysterious turn when the defending force of 100 soldiers reportedly froze, leaving them unable to compete with a smaller elite team. Witnesses noted that the Delta Force operatives fired with impossible precision, estimating a rate of fire near 300 rounds per minute per soldier.
This is one thing they are not saying, the way that they are describing it, these people were in some sort of enhancing suit or enhancing technology that allowed them to move beyond human. This is insane. I mean, we're talking lasers, we're talking satellite dogfighting, we're talking advanced on-you technology. As Glenn Beck said yesterday, the American Army should now scare everybody.
What the fuck? Oh my god. Yeah.
It is theorized that Black Hawk helicopters were used to
video
deploy
game?
this
Yes.
capability, utilizing disc-shaped radar attachments to launch a directed beam at the opposing troops.
Jesus.
They reported internal trauma. They suffered immediate vestibular incapacitation, meaning a total loss of balance and paralysis. Some even reported bleeding from the nose and vomiting blood, symptoms consistent with internal hemorrhaging.
Oh my god.
While the Pentagon hasn't officially disclosed the specific hardware, military experts
It's probably an LRAD, right? I mean, that's what it's got to be.
often call this a soft kill system. So how does it actually work? To understand the weapon, you first have to look at what it did. The most likely candidate for a weapon that creates that kind of internal pressure without external sound is a high-power microwave device.
Just microwave the shit
It
out of them.
relies on something called the Frey effect.
Oh my
The
god.
weapon, probably carried by a Chinook or a Black Hawk helicopter, fires a focused beam of pulsed microwave energy, not sound waves, that passes right through the skull. These beams are absorbed by the water in the brain tissue and the fluid in the inner ear.
Jesus
This
Christ.
energy causes a minuscule rapid heating of the tissue, less than 1 degree Celsius. But that tiny sudden expansion generates a pressure wave inside the skull. The
okay.
consequence? The target hears a sound, clicks, buzzing, or a roar that originates inside their own head.
Oh, yo, that just made my hair stand up. Oh, could you imagine hearing that?
Bypassing the eardrums entirely.
Oh my
If the
god.
frequency is tuned to the resonance of the inner ear, it violently disrupts the body's balance, causing immediate vertigo. At higher power levels, that rapid tissue expansion can rupture capillaries, leading to the reported nosebleeds and internal trauma. There's another possibility.
This is like, I mean, you think about how fucking insane that is?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A weaponized infrasonic pulse emitter. Instead
Some
of a
crazy
continuous
shit,
beam,
yeah.
this device would fire high-intensity slugs of low-frequency air pressure below 20 hertz.
Oh.
These waves travel through the body to match the resonant frequency of internal organs like the stomach or lungs. High-intensity infrasound can actually cause cavitation, the formation of bubbles in bodily fluids. When those bubbles collapse, they create tiny shock waves that damage tissue.
They're creating tiny shock waves in your lungs and stomach. How do you fight that? So everybody has to walk around with a lead vest? I get...
Target feels an intense vibration in their gut, leading to
God.
severe nausea and effectively paralyzing.
Do you remember all those guys with like their fucking rinky-dink cars that have like metal walls on the side of it with like them wearing a ski mask and an AK-47?
They felt so badass.
Like, this is straight up the difference between, like, they went into this and they treated these guys like it was like an uncontacted tribe with like fucking bows and arrows.
Yeah.
It's not even like they didn't even have a chance.
They didn't. They didn't have a chance at all. And that's what these other countries are realizing. It's why it's why people didn't really want to help with Iran. We scared the crap out of the world where they're now even our allies are like, whoa, you're way too powerful. What? So, I mean, like, good. I'm glad because now people see NATO doesn't have our back. We need to get the hell out of there and stop paying for the defense of the world. You know? That's why they're not helping with Iran. They're like, one, you got it. And two, we also want you to use your supply so that it kind of weakens you. These are our allies.
Them with pain and sickness. Tactically, the reports
Holy
suggest U.S.
fuck.
forces use this technology as the ultimate force multiplier. The result was that the hundreds of
Skill diff,
Venezuelan
yeah.
guards mentioned in the reports weren't fought in a traditional gun battle. They were incapacitated, sick,
Yeah.
dizzy, and bleeding, long before U.S. troops made contact.
Mm-hmm.
This allowed a small team of
And
approximately
you've got to keep in mind, too, that this is the thing that they're willing to show. Think about the types of technology and the things that they have that they're not even willing to show even for a mission like this. I bet this is probably like the maybe B tier, but probably C tier technology they have. Like they have space. Yeah, no, they literally drop down to Space Marines and they use psychers for fucking backup support.
I just want to show you this real quick. I got to go to my likes. We just caught a Chinese spy yesterday. Wait. A 21-year-old Chinese national, whatever that name is, has been arrested and is facing charges after photographing a U.S. doomsday plane and other military aircraft without authorization at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. He was taken into custody at JFK Airport following the incident. Update. For those who don't know what a doomsday plane is, a doomsday plane is a heavily protected military aircraft that acts as a flying command center during a nuclear war and major disaster. So, Maduro scared the crap out of everyone, and now we have these missing scientists, these dead scientists. They have to do with nuclear energy, nuclear weapons, nuclear energy, and other advanced tech. China is not hiding it anymore. They know we are way behind. Well, not way behind, but we're behind you. We need to catch up, and we do not care about getting found out anymore. Give us your secrets. I mean, so anyway, be expecting a lot more of that. And it's not only going to be China, it's going to be our allies. Israel's going to want to know our secrets. You're going to have Britain is going to want to know our secrets. India wants to know our secrets. Everybody wants to know this now. That's why he just said we probably only showed off, I'm not going to say C tier. I'm going to say our B tier list. Our B tier weapons. I do not think we even got into our A tier and the highest level of S tier. I think S tier is, as that video you saw yesterday, Cash Patel saying, our highest value assets militarily are in space and underwater. So nobody can just walk up on them.
They actually got invaded by the Imperium.
Nearly 20 operators to walk virtually unopposed through a much larger force. But that's not it. The U.S. military has another secret weapon.
This is 20 years
Analysts
ago?
called it the Iron Dome.
The difference is, like, so I talked to a guy that I know that knows about this, and he said that they've had LRAD, but all of the different technology like this that they've had, they never had it portable. So I think the technology that I think was unexpected here was that they could use this in a portable helicopter that's able to be moved around.
The U.S. military has another secret
That's
weapon.
what he told me. He was in the military.
Analysts called it the Iron Dome of the Caribbean.
Yep.
They said the airspace over Venezuela was impenetrable, locked down by the Russian-made S-300 anti-system.
Really?
That was my mistake from yesterday. I said they bought it from China. It was Russia. And we absolutely decimated it. So, apologize for that mistake. Either way, Russia is literally right behind China when it's coming to this stuff. So, I don't think it would make much of a difference if it was China or Russia. The equipment, in the end, is just not up to par.
Hey, wow. How'd that go?
A beast capable of swatting aircraft out of the sky from 150 miles away.
Uh-huh.
But in the dark night, the myth of invincibility didn't just crack. It evaporated. The opening salvo didn't come from pilots, but from physics. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford, stationed off the coast, unleashed a barrage of electronic warfare so dense it didn't just jam the Venezuelan radar screens, it burned them white.
So it just turned them off.
Yeah.
Well, that'll work.
The S-300 operators at Captain Manuel Rios Air Base were blind before they ever saw the missiles
Do you
coming.
believe this fan fiction? I do, because it worked. I do. I think it worked. I saw it. Yep.
The first kinetic strikes were surgical from a destroyer. Two Tomahawk cruise missiles slammed into the S-300V and radar arrays. In an instant, the eyes of the Venezuelan defense network were turned into twisted, red-hot scrap metal. Precision-guided bombs walked down the flight line. One by one, the Su-30s and the aging X-16s parked beside them, were engulfed in fireballs.
God
7
damn.
jets were erased before their pilots could even reach the ladders.
What the fuck?
It wasn't a dogfight, it was an execution. But the final blow was psychological. At 4:20, the roar of jet engines shook the windows of downtown Caracas. The target was Fortuna, the headquarters of the Ministry of Defense and the nerve center of the regime's
So yeah, you have to keep in mind, like, this guy, he was at the main military base. It's not like they just got this guy at his, like, residential home. No, they literally went into the main area with the military, and they just got him out of that.
That would be like China showing up in Washington, D.C. and snagging Trump. If that happened, that would destroy the confidence of America. Well, we destroyed the confidence of the world.
Military command. The strikes didn't level the city, they decapitated the leadership's ability to communicate. As smoke billowed from the ministry buildings, the message was clear to every commander on the ground: you are alone. You are alone and that no help is coming. But all of this is just a deception. The main target is none other than the president. We finally have the declassified timeline of how U.S. forces breached the heart of Caracas and extracted Nicolas Maduro.
Extracted him?
Let's start with step 1.
Yeah.
The setup. This didn't happen overnight. For months, the U.S. had been tightening a naval quarantine around Venezuela. The U.S. Gerald R. Ford carrier
This
strike
is what I'm curious about, if they're going to do this with Iran, too. Because, like, they have the same thing that they're building up around Iran. And so, like, are they trying to get all the different fucking ships over there so they can just...
Now, this was last year. So, yeah. I mean, this was earlier in the year. So, yeah. I mean, it's what happened. But once again, we're not going to be bringing all of our tech there because of too many eyes. And it's completely different in the fact of, now that you're seeing the game plan, oh, okay, this is more drawn out. We're just going to wither them down till this meeting with Z.
basically do this same thing. It's like, I mean, it would probably suck. I mean, because you think about it from their perspective, right? I mean, you know that the ship is going to be there in 6 days. You saw what happened whenever the ship got to Venezuela. And it's sailing over to your country right now.
Yeah.
I'd be stressed out.
Ever since this happened, everybody on Twitter now keeps an eye on where the warships are, because literally they are the walking grim reaper of the ocean. Wherever they are will bring death and destruction to its enemies.
Group and the U.S. Iwo Jima
really stressed
amphibious
out.
ready group were parked off the coast. The pretext was clear. The U.S. designated the Venezuelan government a
Come away,
narco-terrorist state, specifically targeting the drugs lords. But while the Navy squeezed the coast, intelligence assets were tracking one man. They waited for a specific window, a moment where Maduro was stationary and vulnerable. Step 2, the strike. It began at exactly 2 in the morning Venezuelan Standard
2 a.m.
Time. High above, several F-35 stealth fighters punch a hole through the enemy lines, destabilizing their anti-air defenses. Like these Russian S-300 missiles located all over the strategic high-value target.
That's a badass
With the skies
little
clear,
ship there.
the path
Look at
opens
that.
for Delta Force helicopters
The
to fly
helicopter, yeah.
straight towards the mission. Here comes the deception as the helicopters flew. The jets started firing with more strikes as it hit Fort Tuna, the main military base and command center, and La Carlota Air Base, destabilizing
I mean, I
Ven-
feel like it's also kind of like, I mean, how do they think that they have a chance if we were able to just like turn off their military? Like, there wasn't even a fight. Nothing, there was not even a conflict. They couldn't even do anything. It was just over.
It was.
Venezuelan air support. Reports from the ground describe widespread
no
explosions
chance,
and
yeah.
a sudden communications blackout. The chaos wasn't the goal, it was the cover. But how did the raid happen? We have to look at step 3. Under the cover of darkness and chaos, the Tier 1 operators went to work. But what is the exact unit tasked with the mission? It is the Delta Force, one of the most elite secretive special forces units in the US military. Witnesses in Caracas reported low-flying aircraft skimming the rooftops, flying well below radar coverage. The team breached a secure compound believed to be a safe house within the massive Fort tuna complex.
Well, they knew where he was. They knew where he was the entire time. It was never even a question.
Yeah.
Resistance from the Venezuelan Presidential Guard was swift but ultimately futile, as the helicopters lay cover fire. The operators moved with surgical speed, landing on multiple points. But how exactly the capture and extraction happened? For this, let's look at step 4. Specialized helicopters hovered over the objective to insert the assault team. While dozens of attack helicopters laid down suppression fire, the Delta Special Forces descended and started the search for the high-value targets. How did they find him?
They just got his ass.
Simple. The CIA had planted spy inside Nicolás Maduro close circle.
They literally just had a guy there. They're like, yeah, he's here. It's impressive as fuck. Yeah, of course.
It's incredibly impressive.
While back in the U.S., Delta Force built an exact replica of his safe house, rehearsing the raid until they could do it blindfolded. Wow.
Yep.
They already knew his entire fucking house.
Yep. Did the same.
Yeah, it's like, imagine, like, these guys, they built a replica of your fucking house. It's a cool video, yeah.
While operators breached the room so fast, his security could not even react to the situation as the sound of flash grenades disoriented the security guard. Using blowtorch, they caught him before he could even lock all the doors. Maduro's shock and awe froze him as Delta Force reached the compound. Nicolás Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were physically secured. This wasn't a negotiation. They were detained and immediately moved to the extraction point. These aircraft are capable of performing urban extractions from buildings and refueling in midair.
What the
We
fuck?
make original 4K 3D animation with a small team of animators. So please support us by subscribing and dropping in a comment for more exclusive engineering animations made just for you guys.
Oh my god.
Back here in my
Well, there it is. Do you think they knew his jerking off hours? I bet they did. I bet they knew everything about this guy. They knew all of the stuff that happened. I mean, especially the fact that they had these fucking sonic weapons that were just basically turning off people's brains. Like, I don't know how any of these other guys, like, I think it was interesting, right? Is that the president of Colombia, after he had that call with Donald Trump, he posted the photo of, like, the Colombian national animal with, like, a bald eagle. And that was it. Yeah, no more of that shit. I'll link you guys the video.
And that's the way it's done. You do one big act, and the rest of the people will fall into place. Now let's look at... Yesterday we talked about satellite dogfighting. Now, people, this is just going to be a couple minutes. We're not going to watch this whole video. But I just want to show, like, the tactics. People thought it was going to be like jets. It's over quickly. It's intense. Explosion. It's not like that.
Hello, it's Scott Manley here. If you follow spaceflight, you might well have watched the Dragon spacecraft rendezvous and dock with the International Space Station. Watching them approach from below and behind the station, pass underneath and then circulate up and around to the front of the station before approaching the docking port. Similarly, when the Dragon spacecraft leaves, they will back away and fly over the top of the station until they're a safe distance away. These kind of maneuvers are known as proximity operations, and there's a lot of things to know about how to perform them correctly to take advantage of the way that spacecraft move around in orbit. But these kind of proximity operations are also important to military operations in space, where adversaries are moving spacecraft like inspection satellites or electronic intelligence satellites in close proximity to targets. And we have seen various animations released showing the interactions seen in recent years in orbit. Recent news articles have talked of spacecraft dogfighting in space and as adversaries maneuver around each other, trying to gain an advantage. And this is not like Star Wars, where the spaceships move like fast like aircraft and battles last for a minute until one is destroyed. There's no weapons involved at this time. There's very likely intelligence gathering operations. Those are what's driving this. These encounters in orbit, they play out over days, and the maneuvers are subtle nudges into the orbit that result in what look like, well, delicate space ballet, except one of the superpowers are quietly challenging the other one. For example, back in 2022, a satellite named USA
this shows it.
270 approached two Chinese experimental satellites,
Look at this.
Xi'an 1201 and Xi'an 1202. These were slowly drifting westwards through the geostationary orbit. The US spacecraft began approaching them to take a look at them, and as it got close, the spacecraft split apart and took different routes, placing Xi'an 1202 behind USA 270 and hiding in the glare of the sun during closest approach.
So it's hiding in the sun over here. We're right here. And now we cannot photograph or see what's on that satellite because the sun is blinding us. That's what I'm saying by subtle moves. Like everything is a chess move. You know, that in the end, it takes, these things are thousands of miles away, and now you're doing these subtle moves because remember, all it takes is a little push in space and you start moving a little bit differently. So it's all, I find it very interesting because, you know, just the technical aspect of it, everything. This is what humanity's capable of, and it's inspiring.
This encounter was tracked and analysed by a company called Comspock, which makes software for space situational awareness, and their site has a number of animations that show similar encounters in space. It's not always easy to understand these animations, even knowing how unintuitive orbital mechanics can be for us that live on the surface. A generation of Kerbal Space Program players have intuitively learned orbital mechanics. Even if they don't know the correct names for the 6 orbital elements, they can look at an orbit and imagine a spacecraft following this ellipse, remaining in the plane of following Keplerian orbits, driven by the laws of physics.
Yeah.
It's less intuitive, but to a first approximation, there are also relatively simple laws of motion for spacecraft that are moving close together in proximity operations, whether cooperatively or otherwise. We can take, say, the space station as our reference.
So now you see, like, when we say Star Wars is happening in space, we're talking about legitimate space battles where it's little movements because we don't really have missiles and things like that up there. There will come a day where we do, and then things will change again. But right now, yes, humanity is having space battles. That is crazy. All right, we have another one. Another one from Asmongold. Everyone hates Israel. Israel is super unpopular right now. I'll do that video tomorrow. It's a long one. It's 30 minutes. And it breaks, you know, Israel, I think we can all agree. Too much money, too much influence. You're a foreign power. Why are you so entrenched in our politics? None of us like it. And I'm glad. You know, I don't care what country it is. Get the foreign influence out. All right, I'm trying to only do an hour and a half today. So I'm going to skip this and I just want to jump into some fun. Tim Pool broke down one of the theories of the pyramids being a distress beacon. Now, we talked about, remember Matt LaCroix was talking about how the foundations have these symbols, and remember people were saying, oh wow, that looks like a computer chip. Well, this is another side of that theory, that the pyramids were a satellite, basically a signal to blast into the atmosphere, into space for some reason. Whether it was to the moon, because remember that, you know, the moon is weird. Remember that space station moon. So could it go to the moon? Could it go farther? Because in the end, it is looking more and more like we're a lost colony. We're either some lost colony of an ancient civilization, or it started here. Whatever happened, it's looking more and more like that. Let's take a look. This stuff is so interesting.
Recently, Palmer Luckey was asked about UFOs, aliens, and all that stuff, and he said it's infinitely more likely that these spacecraft or whatever it is we're seeing come from the past and not from outer space. What he means is they're millions of years before us, and it's very easy to travel to the future, but very difficult to go to the past. Thus, if you were to do this mathematically, the formula would be an ancient and advanced civilization created powerful technology and crafts, traveled to the future, and are now watching all of us. Perhaps there's a cycle of civilization on this earth, as some theories suggest.
Oh wow, yes, he's world. Yeah, my thing just updated. I'm at 19 followers. Wow. Thank you, Urania 22. Thank you for joining up with us an hour ago. Thank you. Man, I thought it was gonna take so much longer to get to 20. Honestly, thank you all for the support and the love. This is so awesome. Thank you. I'm having so much fun with this. Thank you.
But we don't know for sure. However, appearing on the Sean Ryan podcast, one guest questioned the origins of the Great Pyramid. Perhaps it is much older than we realize. In fact, the Egyptians maybe found it and said, what could this be? In fact, what is it created by the gods? Now, there are questions as to why we would believe that. Look, it's a gigantic stone structure. And while many people have said it's very difficult in modern thinking to understand how we got all these blocks from, hundreds of miles away or whatever, to this site at Giza, and then they built up these big structures. Well, skeptics, they say, guys, it's a bunch of rocks on top of each other. It's not the hardest thing in the world to do. A bunch of crazy theories are that they laid wood planks down, sprinkled sand on it, put the blocks, and then blew horns in it, which made it vibrate, and they would just slide it across, which, yeah, maybe, I guess. Some theorize.
I don't know if you know that, but yes, they have finally accepted that frequency or vibration was used by the ancients. Now, then you have the people who then take it a step farther and have like, oh, the blocks were levitating. I mean, if you had enough power, but either way, I just think it's really cool that science finally accepted, like, yeah, it was this technique. It's showing up in text. It's showing up in everything. As you're seeing, bit by bit, we are tearing down these institutions and making them accept reality.
However, that ancient civilizations built this. Now, the question is, why? Wouldn't an ancient civilization just build, a metal structure? If they have advanced crafts, why stack a bunch of rocks on top of each other? Unless, of course, it's because they know it will last for a long time. It's stable, non-conductive, except for its gold-plated, it's not even gold-plated, gold structure on top. The theory is that it was blasting some kind of energy into space for some reason. What if, my friends? I can simplify it even more. It really is easy to come up with 1,000,001 reasons why, we can just make things up. You know what I mean? In the realm of possibility, I would argue an ancient civilization that could craft spacecraft or pyramids would likely build it out of, metal, not just a bunch of rocks, right? But what if the ancient civilization, highly advanced, did not have access to the infrastructure with which to create the metals they would need? The question then is, why would an advanced civilization build a large structure out of stone that can blast energy into the ionosphere or space? I think that question's actually really easy to answer. Not that any of this is true, but again, if you came to me and said, there's an advanced civilization, they build a giant stone pyramid with a massive conductor on top, why would they do it?
That is the big thing. There's a conductor on it, the microchip looking layout. You have different section or shafts that have residue of showing powerful chemical reactions. There's too much weirdness. That's why we gotta get the hell in there and figure out what's going on. I mean, could you imagine if we actually prove that we are from, it either started here or we are from another planet that's insane tech that new different tech that was just as powerful, if not more powerful in different ways. Remember, they think civilization is 6,000 years old. The planet is 4.5 billion years old. I mean, the ego of us to think, oh yeah, just in the past 6,000 years. The ego.
I'd say, was there a catastrophe in which their infrastructure was damaged or destroyed? So the only means of a structure they could build would be out of stone, and they needed to send a message to outer space or to a space station? If they're trying to contact a space station, they'd probably build a gigantic pyramid to channel energy straight up to send a signal.
The moon.
Oh my God. So the theory would be somehow an advanced civilization lost access to its technology.
If you don't know why I keep saying the moon, we went over a video last week about how the moon is weird. It's hollow. It's been dug out. It would be exactly what you would expect of like an organic space station. Once again, a lot of coincidences are lining up.
Had to start from scratch and was trying to communicate with something off this planet. Could it then be, my friends? The theory goes like this. Humans came to terraform the Earth, seeding life thousands of years ago. Then, as they were terraforming, became stranded on the planet, unable to reach their orbital space station or their allies in an orbital space station or somewhere further away. Without access to the technology due to, say, a catastrophe or a flood or something, they construct, to the best of their ability, a gigantic antenna or transmitter using rudimentary tech to save resources. It's much easier to cut stone and move it than it is to smelt metal and transport it, especially if you don't have a big access to all of this metal, in which case they built a pyramid, channeled energy upward, fired it off into space, and what if the message was answered and they were rescued? And then sure enough, humans come around, or those that are left behind come around, and we're like, look at these crazy things.
Because once again, we're saying 4.5 billion years old. So, could have not even been humans. Lizard people could be real. There is enough time for multiple civilizations, multiple species. There is so much time that has passed on this planet. It's insane. Anything is possible.
Well, let's read the story. Let's dive into this. In the Daily Mail, they say, the debate about the origins of the Great Pyramid has been reignited. For decades, alternative theories have suggested the ancient structure may not be built during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu, around 2600 BC. A.J. Gentile, host of the Y-Files, recently discussed the Giza Monument on the Sean Ryan Show, claiming the residues found within key chambers match substances known to produce powerful chemical reactions. Quote, there was evidence of zinc chloride on one side of zinc chloride on one side and hydrochloric acid on the other, and sulfuric acid, he said, noting they may indicate ancient reactions within the Great Pyramid. I don't know, batteries or something?
The man who's saying this is AJ. He's the Y-Files. He's the one we watched the other day about the moon is weird. So he's also now talking about the chemical makeup of these shafts and showing how it's powerful reactions. AJ Gentile has been on top of this. His show kind of hit a wall because he basically did every conspiracy. So now he's really been diving even deeper to the ones that he believes and spreading that message. So if you can, give AJ Gentile of the Y-Files a follow. I think you're going to be seeing some good stuff coming out of him. Also, there was some drama between him and another skeptic who's a big conspiracy theorist / I think he's a energy guy for the missing Malaysia flight. Man, if we have time, we'll go look at that. This guy just went, not AJ, the guy started attacking AJ and being real weird, and it made everybody on Twitter go, what? If we have time, I'll show that.
Gentile argued the combination of these materials could have triggered reactions inside the pyramid, fueling speculation the structure served a purpose beyond that of a royal tomb. Supporters of the theory believe such reactions suggest the monument may have functioned as something far more advanced than previously believed. Here you go, my friends. The Sphinx is not the original structure. Some speculate that when you look at the head being all small and the body being all big, that it was actually a large dog or lion or something. And then one of these pharaohs was like,
and we're gonna know that answer soon. Oh my God. Second Sphinx, baby. I'm so glad I was on top of that. I'm so glad. I'm gonna push that. I am going to push it, push it, push it. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so happy I am on top of that. The second Sphinx is real, and we're gonna know the original head. Gosh, please let it happen. Just to answer some huge questions.
Smash the head and carve it to look like me. And thus the Sphinx was broken down. That is much, much smaller. Could it be that the pyramids themselves were discovered long after their creation? And a pharaoh said, carve it out, make holes, make it a tomb for me when I die, and I will live in this great structure that we found. Maybe not. I mean, when you look at it, it's got tunnels and stuff, so I don't think they cut their way through it. Those tunnels must have already existed. Unless these chambers existed for technology that has since been removed, and they said, hey, when I die, put me in that room. Mainstream Egyptologists maintain the Great Pyramid was constructed by ancient workers using limestone blocks quarried nearby. Gentile also questioned the long-held belief, saying, it's supposed to be the tomb for Khufu, but no mummy has ever been found in a pyramid. They never found any of that.
Nobody believes that anymore. Nobody believes that this was some sort of tomb for mummies. The only people that believe that are the institutions that don't want to answer any questions. Literally, nobody believes that anymore.
Egyptologists will say, well, they were robbed. The mummies were there, but they were taken out. All right. Well, there's no evidence of any of that. The idea that the Great Pyramids are much older than accepted gained significant traction in the 90s through alternative theories such as the Orion constellation theory. The theory proposes that the three pyramids in Giza were deliberately aligned to match the three stars of Orion's belt, which ancient Egyptians associated with the god Osiris. Supporters argue the alignment reflects the sky as it appeared around 10,500 BC, leading some to suggest the pyramids or their original design may be far older than the commonly accepted construction date of 2600 BC, though many Egyptologists dispute the claim and say archaeological evidence firmly dates the structures to Egypt's fourth dynasty. Gentile said his claims form part of a broader theory suggesting the pyramids may have once functioned as a massive energy-generating system. He explained
the other big theory is that it was a fertilizer plant. Like it was called the land of Seth. Egypt was called the land of Seth. Seth is black dirt. Very fertile dirt. Great for civilization, planting, and food. So they say it was some sort of fertilization plant that helped make it the land of... No, not land of Seth. Land of Ket. Because the ground, you could grow anything, which, back in the day, meant everything.
The layout of the internal chambers appears designed to allow substances to move downward through shafts using gravity, triggering chemical reactions. They're built in a way so they come down, use gravity, and just pour these chemicals down, and it creates this hydrogen reaction. Hydrogen can expand rapidly and create pressure waves, and Gentile claimed materials inside the pyramid may have enhanced these effects. The chamber is built out of rose quartz granite, which is densely made of quartz. When you compress quartz, it creates electricity. Interesting. Gentile further pointed to the presence of significant groundwater beneath the Giza Plateau, suggesting an underground aquifer may have created natural resonance that helped amplify reactions within the structure. He also claimed copper rods discovered beneath parts of the site may have helped channel energy upward from underground chambers, though he acknowledged the exact mechanism remains unclear. All right. Let me throw...
That is what's so crazy about all this. There's real evidence. Like, it's not just some dude in a bar drunk talking. These are scientists going, yeah, you would need that to do this, and you would need that to do this. That is so cool.
Throw this at you. 10,000 years ago, humans attempting to colonize or terraform Earth suffer a disaster. Maybe it's a flood of some sort, which damages or strips their access.
The flood myth that is all over the world, in every civilization. Yeah, I mean, like, it's accepted. Once again, commonly accepted by everyone except institutions.
to either an orbital space station or just to their technology in general. Let's say there was a plan to colonize Earth, a Class M planet. They dispatch a bunch of materials in advance. Humans then arrive and say, we're going to start using these tools to slowly build and expand a human colony on Earth. However, unbeknownst to them, a disaster occurs. Maybe it's a solar flare that was unexpected.
And that's why we watch Ben.
Maybe a flood happens, damaging much of their equipment, or fighting breaks out. There's a million and one things that could have happened.
And that's why I'm so into AI. AI will dominate this world, and then we can have peace.
Natural disaster, earthquake, who knows, something unpredictable. With this technology damaged, they then say, we need to send a signal back, but we don't have the ability to do so. Our technology was damaged. Maybe it's, again, orbital space station, or maybe it's another planet or something. So they say, let's craft a gigantic beacon. They still have some rudimentary tools, so they line up all this tech, build this structure, and they say, we're going to send up some kind of flare. Communication's been cut, but if we blast enough energy into space, someone will notice. So they build this thing to just blast a gigantic pulse that someone will eventually see. And maybe they did. Maybe then, shortly after, they were rescued. Maybe they never were. Maybe some were rescued and some weren't. I don't know. I'm not actually suggesting any of this is true. It's probably just a bunch of people back then were like, we're going to...
Just so you know, you and your body, your entire being resonates on a different level than the rest of the planet. There are multiple things that point to we are not meant to be here, or we weren't built from this world. We would be way more in sync with it. We're not. There was also evidence that is accepted by science that our DNA was cut. You would need to do bioengineering for that. There's multiple evidence in this world showing that humans might not have been made here. That is why you might feel out of place. Human society kind of feels out of place. The big old theory is, that whatever was before us came down, mixed their DNA with the population that was here, the monkey people or whatever you want to call it, and boom, humans. We'll see. Honestly, I'm really hoping that we might get these answers in our lifetime. With the technology and everything going insane, and as long as we can look under the ground even farther and even farther, we're gonna find answers. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that I'm not too old that I might miss out on this knowledge. I think that truly this might be solved in my lifetime. And I think that is incredibly awesome, because I've been wondering these answers for a long time.
Built a skyscraper and they stacked rocks together.
I did not think I was ever going to know these answers 2 years ago. It was only in the past 2 years that I realized, like, holy crap. It's why I'm making this broadcast. I'm trying to show people, like, yo, this is insane. This isn't like just some people talking. This is real science.
They put gold on it because it was shiny and valuable. Occam's razor, right? But then you have stories of Atlantis, Tartaria, whatever it may be. What if they were trying to colonize this planet? What if they were terraforming it and a disaster struck? This was just meant to be a beacon. What if they were then rescued? What if some humans stayed behind because of fighting? What if there was a great war in the heavens where different factions started fighting each other for some reason? Politics happens. Some of the people who lost were cast down, crashing in some parts of the world where they were left behind. And those who survived sent a beacon and escaped. The humans who left behind eventually had children, and thus there is a great earthly civilization now based all going way back 10,000 some odd years to human beings landing. What if eventually this advanced species arrived, came back, and in fact, they were just basically humans? They looked a little bit different because we've had 10,000 years of different development, but largely they looked like humans. And they walked amongst us and we were unaware. And with advanced technology, communications, our technology has since progressed, and they have taken over for some time. It's a fun idea, isn't it? I'm not saying if it's true. It's just fun to think about. You know,
And that's why the two theories that I kind of follow a little bit, but once again, this is like really down the rabbit hole. It's not like you don't want to waste too much time on it. But yeah, that's why one of the theories I believe is we are either super old as a race, and or a different race before us had a AI computer that we found, and that exploded our technology, or they came back, look like us, integrate, and then help us just progress. I mean, we'll see. We will see, because I mean that if you were a returning species that is then coming back to a lost colony, would you want to kick open the door and go, "Hey, we're here to tell you some news that's going to blow up your entire world. You're going to question everything," or would you slowly integrate? I think you would choose number 2.
other ideas, certainly interesting. Here's one that I was toying around with. What if the crash at Roswell was not alien scouts, but a beacon sent to Earth intentionally by a dying advanced civilization? Somewhere far, far away, aliens of a great civilization noticed the emergence of life, a Class M planet they called, meaning just like Earth. It's capable of sustaining organic life. And so they said, let us send a computer beacon that will contain information. By the time it reaches, we don't know if we will still exist. Or what if they were dying? What if they knew that their sun was about to go nova, that their civilization was reaching its end, and that they would not be able to get off the planet fast enough? So they sent a vehicle straight towards Earth, calculating the exact trajectory where it would land on Earth. And then it did. And inside of it, information about an advanced civilization as they were dying. They knew they weren't going to be able to make it. And so they gifted everything they built. And it crashed in Roswell, New Mexico, somewhat accidentally. The U.S. government found that, and they began to try and decipher and decode it. An artificial intelligence technology quickly mapped out the English language and began to communicate, explaining everything these people needed to know. A truly advanced AI would need only a little bit to start building an understanding of the English language. So they fed it information it asked, and within a day or two, it spat out perfect English explaining. A civilization nearing its end wanted to exist, and so it sent anything it could to several planets that supported life, and this is everything they once were. And now you've got powerful government officials that have access to all of this ancient technology, which they're only releasing ever so slowly, as if not to disrupt and destroy human civilization. I'm just making all this.
I want you to actually think for a second and feel. Does that feel right? Do you feel like everything that's happened in the past 70 years feels organic? Or does it feel like there is a more powerful force, kind of like he's saying, letting things out, letting just a slow immersion? Because it does feel like that to me. It feels like drip by drip, we're finding out more and more and more until we get the picture, and then it's a peaceful acceptance rather than a violent rebellion.
This up because it's fun. The truth is, again, a bunch of stone people just carved stones and stacked them up. I do think it's really funny that people think it's so profound they built a pyramid. So how did they do it? Guys, slave labor. And they're like, yeah, but the rocks are so big. I know. Again, slave labor. I wonder, actually, I'm going to look this up. Let's try this. Okay, let's do this. How many people would it take pulling ropes to move a 2-ton granite block? Let's just say they wrapped a ton of ropes around it and then told slaves to pull. It would take, let's see, the estimate is, can you give me the actual number? Wow. 20 people can tow a 2-ton stone horizontally. Really? That's pretty crazy. If it was on a track, they could slide it. Oh. On sand, it would take 25 to 40 people to tow 2 tons. That's it? Seriously?
How
That can't be
far?
right. People are freaking out about this. You could wrap a bunch of ropes on a giant block and have 200 people pull it, and they probably would do it easily. And people are acting like that. What? Friction reduction is everything. Yeah, again, you lay down a bunch of, like wood slabs or something, and you'll slide. That'll make it a lot easier.
The reason that doesn't work is, and he's the 2-ton thing. We're talking about like 100 tons. You put that on a piece of wood just explodes. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. There is no material that is dense enough to hold the weight of 100 tons. I mean, I didn't.
Wow. With multiple parallel ropes, 172 men can move a 58-ton statue. Well, that's crazy. Really? A strong adult can pull 50 to 100 pounds of force per person on a rope. They've done experiments on this. Let's see. A single 2-ton block, 15 men could pull a 2-ton block. Seriously? That seems wrong. Without optimizations, it'll take around 40 plus people to pull a 2-ton stone. How much did a pyramid block weigh? Let's try that. Maybe it's not 2 tons, right? Maybe it's more. 2.3 million stone blocks. They were roughly 2 tons. Okay, well, now I'm bored by this. Really? It's a mystery? It's slaves put on ropes. Thank you and have a nice day. I don't know. It's fun. I'm just goofing off, guys. It's whatever. Slow news day, right? Smash the like button. Share the show. Stick around. We got more coming up throughout the day, and we'll see you on the next segment.
$80 tons. Oh, yes. I was like, wait, what? Thank you. There is an 80-ton stone block that is elevated, lifted up in the King's Chamber. The heaviest blocks moved in place during the construction of the pyramids of Giza are the massive granite ceiling beams / roof slabs in the King's Chamber. The 5 revealing chambers above it in the Great Pyramid of Khufu. They weigh up to 80 tons each. Right? So this is the roof. So as he just said, 2.5 is the average of the blocks moved and all that. Gotcha. Rope and slaves. That is 80 tons that would explode wood if laid on it. And somehow they elevated it up into the ceiling. That is why everybody's like, what the hell happened? Okay, whew. I got so much information in my head. I was like, wait. There's something missing. Thank you. I was supposed to be like, wait, whoa. I was wrong? I'm never wrong. What's wrong with me? Have faith in yourself, Travis. So, that is why the Great Pyramids are such a mystery. An 80-ton block is lifted to the ceiling. So, it's all a mystery. It's all a mystery. And I love it. I love it. It's so interesting to me. But yeah. Alright, guys. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. I still have my daughter home sick, so I got to take care of her. And we're going to go see Abuela and have a good day. And, it's cold out over here in Jersey. So just going to be bundling up and relaxing today. So I hope you guys have your beautiful day. Thank you for watching us on Kick Off the Morning, the unofficial official morning show of Kick. I hear my little doggy. It's against the... He wants to come in. All right, well, I'm going to go play with my dog. Going to go take care of the daughter. Going to enjoy this day. I hope you guys do too. Have a good one.